Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. In this video today, we're going to cover XM Studios. They have a new Rhino statue. They have a new Supergirl statue. JND Studios has a new Harley Quinn statue. And Prime One Studio released a new bust that also is an interchangeable portrait for the Blitzway and Prime One Studio collaboration they have for the Joker statue. A lot of people are excited for that one. And also the diorama based on the art of Fabok, the Superman versus Doomsday. And for that reason, I'm here first at XM Studios. We're going to cover the stuff they have here. And we're going to talk about Rhino because this statue is definitely one that a lot of people are excited for. Now, the price for this one in Singapore dollars is $1,399. So you're a Prestige member, you get a 10% discount. It is only available in Southeast Asia. However, you can go through other routes like Spec Fiction to pre-order this. Now, the people involved in the production of this piece, we have Rafa Sandoval, he is the 2D sculptor here. Tiago Rios, he did it's called the physical sculpt, and the XM Studios design and development team is involved in the whole process. All right, guys, now we're looking at the pictures, and I'm telling you, this Rhino is massive. Looking at this guy, the level of detail and the paint job is really good. Definitely, it's excellent. This is XM Studios forte when it comes about getting the stuff done in that quality that they do. It is massive. However, it doesn't mean that even though I love the sculpt on this piece, it doesn't. There are a couple of things that I can point out that I'm not too crazy about. When I look at this, I love the sculpt. Definitely, he has this armor, the Rhino armor around him. He's definitely terrifying. He is massive, and I know it's gonna look very, very good. It's a striking looking piece for sure. However, I think the paint job in this case is too dark. I feel that the gray is really extreme in some ways. I wish it was a bit lighter with the gray, so it feels more smooth than, because with all that gray and all the in this case the weathering and the shadowing and all the shades and all of that, I feel that it's kind of like there's a lot of contrast here. Sideshow did a terrific job with theirs, because he does have a more smooth feel with the colors. So I think it's more like a nitpick. Some people are not gonna have a problem with that. I think ultimately it's how you like it. And this is a more modern rendition of the Rhino where he looks more massive and muscular. I do like the one that he looks a bit more chubby. I like that they chose this tag, the Amazing Spider-Man number 41, which was the introduction of the Rhino. So this is really an Easter egg. For those who love comics and know comics, they will know exactly what it is. The New York tag, this is the older New York tag, because now they have the golden one, but they use perhaps the one that is more recognized. I wish you had an interchangeable portrait the same way they did with Sideshow, because then you have the more classic look and the more modern look. So I think Sideshow, in some ways, it's hard to compare them both. I do like the Sideshow for some reason. I love that classic depiction, and I do feel that this one is over texturized. You know, there's a lot of texture in the skin. They went for that, which in some cases it may look with in this case, the XM display, not necessarily if you're trying to mismatch with other pieces. If you're looking for a more classic look, perhaps this might not be something that you're too crazy about. I would tell you that the one that was recently done for the 1/6 scale, the Diamond Select toys, that is actually going on pretty much on sale very soon. I loved how the texture of that one is very smooth. I like that classic pose and the classic feel of it. This is not bad, but this is a different take on the character. But yeah, I would say it is good, you know, for what it is. I know some people will be excited to add this to their collection. You know, I would say with the paint job, if it's lighter, I would be even better in my opinion with all the texture that he has. But they did a good job as usual. XM does always great. And the cap there, all of that, that's a nice touch. And you can see the detail there. He's been through battle, so he has a lot of battle damage even in the skin. But yeah, the detail there with the tires, I don't know if this is going to be rubber. I imagine this is going to be polystone. But really cool, man. This is a really cool piece. All right, now we're moving on to Supergirl, and the edition size for this one is 799 pieces max. And I didn't mention that for Rhino. Also, that one has the same edition size, 799. The retail price for this one in Singapore dollars is $1,199. The prestige price, of course, you get the 10% discount. Now, if you pre-order before July 14, you will get the collectible display plaque as your early pre-order gift. Now, the people involved in the production here, we have Juan Carlos Ruiz Burgos. He is the 2D sculptor, the designer. Wanda Kurniagan is the sculptor, and the XM Studios design and development team is involved in the whole process. All right, guys, now we're looking at the pictures, and I'm telling you, I like the Supergirl. I read a few comments online on Facebook groups that were people not really liking the portrait. Some people were even pointing that the face looked kind of manly. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look manly to me. It looks like a woman that doesn't have as much makeup. That's how it looks like to me. That's the impression I have. I feel that sometimes people have this idea of the perfect beauty in these characters. I am more in, you know, although I love classic look, I also like a more realistic look in the sense of something that you can feel that is a real person right in front of you. And I do feel that this is a, you know, they did a good job here. I don't see what they were mentioning with this portrait. The base here, they have this idea with this pot where, of course, she was transported. It's not really, it's kind of small. And I don't think she will fit on that thing unless she was a baby there. But I think it's just the idea, it's just the concept, just to give you a reference, you know, it gives you some idea of the character and pretty much the way she was brought up and the way she was introduced into comics. The outfit, it does have a kind of like a mix between the classic outfit and the more modern outfit, which is something that, you know, XM does with everything. They do have this combination between modern and old, trying to please, kind of, they come into a happy medium for everyone. And some people like it, you know, some people don't like it, you know, that's for sure. Some people prefer a more classic look, some people are into the more modern look. But I think for the most part, those who are collecting XM Studio pieces, they already know that, and they're collecting for that reason, because they like that combination of both. Now, I do like the cape, and that red is so deep, and you know, it's so good. I like that, and the way it pretty much it shines with the lighting on it. I like that. And that thing, I will tell you that XM is really good at those things. And I do like the shading and the cape and her skirt. All of that is really good. Now, this portrait, I'm telling you, I do like the hair, but I don't necessarily love the way the eyes were portrayed. And I wish she was doing something different instead of having a very serious and pretty much like the, you know, she's inexpressive on this one more than on the other one, in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of this portrait in comparison to the other one. The other one is better, in my opinion. With the red eyes, it's fine. But this is the one that, in my opinion, is going to be the less utilized. A lot of collectors are going to use this one probably once or twice, and that's about it. I don't think people will be crazy about this one. It's not the best portrait, and the hair looks a bit stiff as well. So I would say the other one is the best one. Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's something about it that I don't know if maybe there's some lack of refinement. And I would say with the hair, it looks very stiff, like she used a lot of spray on it, and it's so like stiff there. So this one definitely needs some work, perhaps some refinement on that face and the expression. She just, I don't know, she doesn't scream at me as, you know, Supergirl for some reason. So this is the one that to me needs change. The way they did the paint job with the eyeshadow, I'm not too crazy about it with the red and the way they add the red around it. Overall, I think this is not a bad piece. Besides that portrait, I feel that this is the better one. And it's, you know, it's a nice addition to the collection. Definitely, you know, some people are going to love it, some people are not going to like it. You know, at the end of the day, it's a matter of choice. Some people, you know, prefer this type of beauty. I'm okay with it. I feel that she looks natural. And I like when they do that. Here you can see with the other portrait. At this angle, it's not bad, I think, from afar. But when you get too close, it's just not the best portrait. Even the face doesn't look the same. Even you can see the jawline is very different. So that's something that definitely needs some adjustment. This is a nice looking piece, and not for everyone. You know, there are a couple of things that need adjustment, but for the most part, it is a good job. All right, guys, so now we're moving on to JND Studios. This company definitely is making a mark this year. They're doing a lot of amazing stuff, and people are excited for this stuff. They have this Harley Quinn, the Hyperreal movie statue, and as you can see, it's already on pre-order, and people are getting excited. Unfortunately, this is not available outside of China and some countries there in Southeast Asia. It's already sold out, as you can see on the website. You will have to find a different route, maybe a spec fiction, maybe through a third party. And the price is $2,099. It wasn't cheap. People weren't happy about that as usual. But I'm coming to Facebook to look at the pictures because the website, the way it has it set up, it's not the best way for me to show you the pictures. So I have to come to Facebook. But here you can see, there's been a lot of criticism about this piece. A lot of people love it, and I know that that's the reason it sold out right away. But people are not happy because they think, or they see at the face of the portrait, they say that the mouth is too big and it doesn't look like her. Now, I do disagree with most people in this case, or the people are saying that. I do think that this looks very realistic. However, I can agree that there are a couple of things there that perhaps like the lips are too big. But when you look at this actress in real life, when you look at pictures of her, you realize that she does have a big mouth. And sometimes when a lot of actors and actresses, what they do in order, let's say if they have a big mouth, they have to use certain makeup in order for them to have a smaller lips. And they do all sort of things. You know, makeup does a lot of things for these people to get, you know, for them to look certain way. So I feel that in some ways, perhaps it's just the lipstick that make them out look too big, and maybe they need to fix that. You know, in that case, her lips are too big. And don't forget that they do 3D renderings of these actors and actresses, and they do that based on actual reference from these companies, from Warner Brothers and from DC and all of that. So they're utilized in order to produce this type of things. So when they're doing that, they're doing it from that rendering. And what you're getting is the closest thing to the real thing, particularly with this. And now with the silicone material, it's even better than what you can get with polystone. Now, if I compare this, for example, to the Infinity Studio, and I talked about it before, I would say the life-size bust is better than this, but at the same time, that's a life size. This is only a third scale statue, so definitely there is some loss in some of that detail that it happens when you have to reduce something in size. But I would say that this is really good. Yeah, I would say that with the price point, I'm not crazy about it either, but that's something that we're looking and seeing across the board with every other company. And it's just the way it is. Now, they continue with this standard base that they're using, which kind of looks good. And you can see some broken glass there. I wouldn't say that I'm too crazy about the broken glass and the feel of it and the gun on the ground. It's just something that they're doing. I wish that they can just change some of that impression of the way they're doing some of these bases, which is standard and perhaps is good. Some people may like the standardized base, but to me, it's like, I wish we can get to see something different. I know that a lot of people like her. I think she's very pretty, but I don't think she is like gorgeous physically. I don't think she's like, you know, like some women, they do have the curves. I don't think she does. But I think she's really pretty, and she has this personality that I think portrays well with Harley Quinn, and that's the reason why she has been able to be successful. But beyond that, she's not curvaceous, and I think with the sculpt right here, you can see that she doesn't look curvaceous, and I think that's really accurate with the actress. Again, like I mentioned before, I think that what they have to do is adjust that lipstick, and I think you are right there on the money. It is pricey. But I know some people are really infatuated with this type of statues now. It's collectors that they're collecting this, that they're really in love with the silicone. There's a lot of unknowns about the piece, but at the same time, like I mentioned before with silicone, it's not just a matter of if it's going to last whatever time it's promised to last. It's if you're able to keep it, you know, like everything else. If you are a collector, you know that there is a maintenance that is required for all these pieces, for every piece, whether it's polystone, whether there is any type of material. And I know silicone is type of material that's going to require more care than anything else. And I feel that ultimately it's about collectors being really on the know and really understanding what they're getting into. If you want to preserve the life of these pieces, then you have to give your best effort in order to do so. And that means that you have to work hard at it, you have to clean it, you have to, you know, maintain it, you have to have a proper room for it, and all of those things. You have to undust more often, you have to avoid the heat, you have to avoid humidity and anything that can harm this, whether it's chemical cleaners, all of that. So there's a lot of things that you got to do in order to maintain this type of things. I would say it's cool, and I congratulate those who were able to pre-order. And I understand some people didn't like it, and there are a couple of things that perhaps it's not as perfect, but ultimately I think this is the closest thing you will find, regardless of the opinion of some, regardless of the dissatisfaction of others, regardless of what people say. Silicone statues are the closest thing that we have right now to the source material. So in my opinion, JND did pretty good here. All right, guys, now we're moving on to Prime 1 Studio, and we have first the Joker, based on the Dark Knight film, the Heath Ledger's Joker bust. And this price for this one is $299. There's no edition size yet. The good thing about this piece is that you can display it just like that, just as a bust, if that's what you're looking for. I think the price is fair for that 1/3 scale bust, or you can use the portrait and as an interchangeable portrait with the, in this case, the statue that they produce in collaboration with Blitzway. And a lot of people are excited for it. When we talk about that statue, we point out that, you know, the likeness was there. I point that out, but it wasn't as good in comparison of the choice of that portrait wasn't that good. And a lot of people were dissatisfied with that. The good thing is now that they really reconsidered this and they decide to make the interchangeable portrait, which actually should have come with the original piece anyway. And they're selling it in a separate thing with this bust. Now, some people are not fans of this bust. It's kind of cool. It's a nice stand for this, but it gives you an option. And of course, some people are pointing out that, you know, paying $300 for a separate portrait is a lot of money. But it is an alternative. If you're already happy with what you have, if you're already happy and you don't feel like you need to change, you don't need to. But here you can see, now we can compare that. Now when you swap it, now it looks more like the poster that, you know, the official poster that a lot of people were pointing out. And it is better in my opinion. I think this new portrait is better than the smiling portrait. Not saying that that one is bad. I feel that that's another option and that's good. So you can swap right there. And right there, you can put it right next to it. And I would say now when you look at this picture, when you can see the statue right next to the bust, you can see that the bust is not really stealing from this character, you know, and that's perhaps the reason why they chose the colors that they use for the bust, for the, in this case, the half torso. So that way, you know, it's not really stealing, it's not becoming the focal point, and then you can simply do the swaps, but you have a place to put the other head. That's good. And I like that. I think they did a good job. Now it looks better than it did before. Very interesting the way they did it. Now the bat symbol in the back and the laugh of the Joker, the card. Really interesting, really nice. Definitely this one, this should have been part from the get-go, to be honest. Now when I look at it the most, I feel that I don't know why they didn't choose this one from the beginning. And definitely this is fixing this piece and it's changing the way people are perceiving this piece. Now this makes this piece the ultimate Joker for some people, and it's even in comparison to JND's or any other company that is producing this type of Jokers, because right now everyone is doing a Joker, so it's cool. And then of course you had all this, the different weapons and all the swappable parts, and kudos to Prime One Studio for considering this and actually giving another option to collectors. Alright guys, now we're moving on to the start of this video, the one that a lot of people are excited for and I think a lot of people are expecting to hear from me or my opinion in regards to it, which is Superman vs. Doomsday, concept by Jason Fabok, the deluxe bonus version. Of course there's the regular version, but we're going to use the deluxe because it's the best of the best. The price for this is $2,199. It's not cheap at all. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the ones that they don't have the space. This is for the people that are ready for this, that they have a place already set up so they can display this. All right, now let's look at the pictures, and I'm telling you, this piece is impressive. This is going to release, I would say, between the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. So it's gonna be a long wait for every collector that pre-orders this until they get this. And I'm telling you, based on the time and everything that has been happening around the world, easily this is going to be released in the middle of 2023. That's just what I think, and based on what we're looking at right now, nobody has any guarantees of time. But here you can see the deluxe version, and this is the bonus part for those who pre-order directly right now through Prime One Studio. You get the swappable head parts where you have this, pretty much the power emanating from his eyes. It looked kind of weird, to be honest with you. I would say that it's not necessary. Unless you really care to have that extra part, go for it. But for the most part, I think just the regular will suffice. So you can go through Spec Fiction if you want to save on some money. If this ends at Sideshow, you can go through Sideshow. Just choose anyone else. And I don't know if Spec Fiction is carrying Prime One Studio right now. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think you have to find a way to get this one differently than before. But looking at the pictures, as you can see, this was very impressive. This was part of the second showcase, and I'm telling you, it was impressive. Huge piece. When you look at the characters, you know that they are two powerful beings that really match each other. You know, of course, Doomsday is raw power. It's just raw internal power, while Superman is very powerful, but he always, you know, holds back. And when they're fighting with each other, it's like they're both at their peak of their moment. So you can see all the deluxe bonus parts. You can see you can change, you can swap the S in his chest. You can have different portraits, which is nice. The one yelling, screaming, the one showing the teeth. And of course, you can see all the features of Doomsday. You know, this piece is amazing for sure. Here you can see the head parts. You have the regular one, which is the more calm. It's not calm, but he's serious there. But in the deluxe version, you got this one showing his teeth, grinding the teeth, and the one he's screaming. You have the regular classic Superman symbol, and then you have this one with the black backdrop. So that's kind of cool. And definitely it's impressive. That Doomsday is massive. Look at that hand. That hand is almost as big as Superman's torso. That's how huge it is. Really cool. Of course, this is based on the art of Fabok, and you know they did this inspiration with the horns, all of that, which is the more modern depiction that they're doing now for Doomsday. I do prefer the classic 90s Doomsday, you know, where he didn't have this horns and all, you know, of course there were bones growing, but here with all the bones, it looks like you even have like claws and stuff, which I'm not a fan of. So I would say that even though he is very massive, Doomsday is my least favorite part of the whole depiction here. And I'm telling you, my favorite diorama that was created for this battle is the one done by Iron Studios. The first diorama they did on the 1/6 scale. That Superman versus Doomsday, it's amazing in my opinion. I mean, even though when it came out, it has some imperfections. There are a couple of things people complain about it. Ultimately, I think it was a phenomenal depiction of that battle. Of course, that's a 1/6 scale, and this is a 1/3 scale, and you can see the texture on the outfit, something that bigger pieces can allow you to do more texture and more detail, even in the hair. Look at the strands of hair on the sculpt. It looks amazing for sure. But look at that. And there's so many pictures here to look at. And every angle, this is an interesting piece. And I know a lot of people were pointing this out, in social media, on Facebook, they were talking about it. How are you going to display something like this? Like you have to have a very massive room. You have to have a really large collection room in order to display such a massive piece. And I think that's the biggest challenge for any collector at any point, is that you're going to grow out of space. You're going to come to a place where you're going to see beautiful pieces because they continue to produce these amazing looking pieces. And it seems that everything is going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's gonna come to a place where people pretty much run out of space because, with this type of pieces at this scale, you have 3 and you're done. There's nothing else you can have. And ultimately that creates more conflict also for collectors, because now you have to get rid of something in order to make space for another thing. And some people don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't want to deal with other people, whether it's through eBay, whether it's in social groups. There's a lot of scammers out there as well. So there's a lot of things that people fear. People don't have the time for all of that. So it becomes a challenge for collectors, a real challenge to deal with. So I feel that that is the thing, that although I love these big pieces, I feel that we get into a place where everything is becoming too big to handle. And hopefully companies can realize that at some point, and they're starting to, to cater more into the smaller scale. I know some people are going to be dissatisfied with that. Regardless of how I feel about the scale and the size, I gotta give kudos to this company for doing what they're doing. Look at that, the torso of Doomsday, the Daily Planet symbol, all of that. I think this base looks better. The way they set up is better organized than the one from the Iron Studios 1/6 scale diorama. I think is better organized. It's not as huge, which is good. But yeah, I do like that diorama because of the classic look, of course, of Doomsday and Superman right there in that battle. They're pretty much face to face. But here, at this point, at this angle, this is going to be definitely a large piece to display, and it's going to be a challenge to find the proper space. In my opinion, the best way to set this one up is pretty much an eye level, or perhaps even lower than eye level, so that way you can see what Superman is looking at. This is the type of pieces, like I would say 20 years ago. They're the type of things that you have to pretty much pay somebody to do for you. They will have to pay easily $20,000, $30,000 for someone to privately pretty much do something for you. So it's a private commission thing. Now these companies have brought the private commission into your doorstep and allowing this client, anyone, to really buy these pieces, which is amazing. It's amazing to see the quality here and the level of detail and love these companies add to this. It is massive. Definitely, it's too big, and definitely it's expensive for me, but I'm not going to take the credit away from Prime One Studio. They did a terrific job with this one, and it's amazing to see that. I'm telling you, today has been amazing. What we have seen today blows my mind. But what is your opinion? What do you think about these pieces? Are you a fan of any of them, or have you pre-ordered any of them? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so you're reminded of the next video. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The links are down below. And please consider supporting the channel financially through Patreon. My friends, God bless you. Take care, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.